All right. Doctor amputates man's healthy fingers to relieve body integrity dysphoria in Quebec. The amputation enabled him to live in alignment with his perceived identity. This is how insane Canada is. While everybody was asleep, lunatics took over all of the institutions. Yes, in Canada now, we're removing people's fingers because they asked the government to. It kind of feels like there might be another problem other than having the normal amount of fingers. It kind of feels like maybe a doctor might, or surgeon, psychiatrist might conclude that the problem is not having the normal amount of fingers that a person's supposed to have. Now you just chop them off. I was never, in the past, I was never one for slippery slope arguments, but clearly the slippery slope people, they got a point. A Quebec man who felt that he should not have fourth and fifth fingers on his left hand successfully petitioned a doctor to remove them. A surgeon went ahead and removed the man's healthy fingers in a case of digits amputation, believed to be the first of its kind to relieve so-called body integrity dysphoria. And I guess the surgeon was really proud. First of its kind. He's the first one to chop off a mentally ill person's fingers because they asked him to. Yeah.
Everything woke turns to shit.
Yeah, I must have other buttons here.
What the fuck is it with you?
What the fuck is it with that surgeon? Jesus. The ambidextrous 20-year-old man had apparently tried therapy and pharmaceutical drugs to relieve the feeling that he had two fingers that should not be there, but the National Post reports that this only increased his distress. Well, the only thing he can do at that point is just chop off his fingers, right? In the journal Clinical Case Reports, Dr. Nadia Nadeau of the Department of Psychiatry at Université Laval in Quebec City said the patient, quote, hides his fingers, keeps them flexed, leading to impaired dexterity, localized pain, irritability, and anger. Well, I guess you better chop them off then. The National Institutes of Health defines body integrity identity disorder as the extremely rare phenomenon of persons who desire the amputation of one or more healthy limbs and who desire a paralysis. Yikes. Some of these persons mutilate themselves. Others ask surgeons for an amputation or for the transection of their spinal cord. Jesus Christ. Is that next? Are they going to paralyze people next? I mean, they've already started chopping off people's fingers, and they want to offer medical assistance in dying to people who are depressed. Slippery slope. I don't know. The case study said he'd been contemplating removing his two fingers since childhood, even considering creating a guillotine specifically for the purpose. No way this guy's mentally ill. He's just got too many fingers. He's just got the normal amount of fingers, and that's too many. The man's nightmares and emotional distress allegedly ceased upon the removal of his two fingers, and after the surgical pain dissipated, he did not experience phantom pain. The case study read that without his healthy fingers, quote, he was able to pursue the life he envisioned as a complete human being without those two fingers bothering him. So a complete human being who's not actually complete because they chopped his fingers off. Recognizing and addressing the unique needs of patients can lead to a future where they can live with more dignity, respect, and optimal well-being. Yeah, but what happens in like a year or in 5 years or 10 years? Is he still got that itch? Still got that itch to start chopping things off again? This seems like an insane thing to do to me. Personally, I think the doctor should be jailed. Psychiatrist should be jailed. That'll never happen. But I mean, this just seems like something psychopaths would do. Removing healthy body parts? How can that be the cure? Removing healthy body parts. Like, where do you draw the line? Like legs? Arms? What happens when he comes back and says, I got a hand too many? I got an arm too many? I mean, it seems like you're going to open up a Pandora's box of fucked upness in this. That's fairly insane. If he comes back again, do you just keep lopping off body parts? Like, what if you just keep going until he's just a torso? I'm just not sure that amputation can be the cure for mental illness, right? I don't know. That just seems like a fundamental thing. that you just find a different way. You tried everything. Did you? Did you really? There was nothing else you could do other than chopping off his fingers? There was nothing? Seems to be kind of crazy to me. What's the chat got to say about this? Here, the streamer says the slope is now a ramp at the end of a rocket sled. Rogue thought, just waiting for the revival of lobotomy affirming care. Oh, God. Why not? Why not? I mean, lobotomy was probably the biggest medical scandal before so-called gender affirming care. Yeah, so anyway, Canada is a dystopian nightmare land, apparently, now, where we're giving children sex changes and cutting off people's fingers because they asked them to.